Well, it's the moment that a lot of college football fans have been waiting for. The debut of Deion Sanders at Colorado. The Colorado Buffaloes take on number 17 TCU on Saturday, and the million-dollar question entering this game is not necessarily how Colorado is going to look, but can the Buffaloes really take down last year's national runner-up? Well, that's the question that we're going to answer today. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad that you could join us today, ready to break down Saturday's matchup between Colorado and TCU. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. If you want guaranteed winnings every single week, guaranteed winnings all year long, money right back in your pocket, and a guaranteed winning record by season's end, this is the place for you. Because we have beat out over 80% of the national handicappers each of the last 5 years. And we can guarantee all of those things and more over on thegridironexpert.com, one of the lowest prices in the country for the best picks in the country. Go sign up for those today to take advantage of every single one of our week one picks. Check out our Patreon account as well, exclusive college football content there year round. And of course, send us some gear. We don't have any Colorado gear. We don't have any TCU gear. We'd love to get some more gear so we can represent your team in every single Gridiron Expert video. The mailing address for that down in the description below as we try to continue to expand our GE Nation from coast to coast. So let's dive into this game, guys. Look, I mean, we've been talking about this for all offseason, right? It's all the hype surrounding the Colorado program and the hype that Deion Sanders has brought in, the swagger that he's brought in. He's done a phenomenal job. He really has. He's done a phenomenal job instilling excitement into this Colorado program that now is in their last year in the Big 12. You know, these teams are playing now. They're going to be members of the Big 12 with each other starting next year, which is very, very exciting. But, you know, how quickly can he turn around a Buffaloes program that went 1-11 last year? How quickly can Colorado begin to gel with 86 new players this season, 53 added transfers? I mean, it's unreal. I mean, you talk about a rebuild. That is what Deion Sanders has taken on. That's what he's trying to do. But so many key new pieces. How quickly can it gel for Colorado against the national runner-up from last year? TCU comes into the season ranked number 17 in the country, went 13-2 last year, was the Cinderella story, going undefeated in the regular season, losing the Big 12 championship game, but then beating Michigan in the playoff semifinal before falling to Georgia in that national championship game. These two teams did meet last year. TCU winning 38-13 despite leading to 7-6 at halftime. Really came to life there. Could we be in store for a similar blowout, or will Colorado shock everybody and even if they don't win, make this game very, very close and competitive? We take a look at the offense. We'll start with Colorado. Why not? We just mentioned it. So many new pieces for an offense that averaged just 15.4 points per game last year and only 281 total yards per game. I mean, it was one of the worst offenses in the country. But again, what happened last year really doesn't matter because they're not dealing with the same staff, the same players that contributed to such a poor offense last year. Shedeur Sanders, son of Coach Deion Sanders, is in at quarterback after throwing for over 6,900 yards, 70 touchdowns to just 14 interceptions during his time at Jackson State. Alton McCaskill comes in at running back from Houston. Travis Hunter transferring in from Jackson State as well, going to play both ways at both wide receiver and cornerback. Jimmy Horn transfers in at wide receiver in from USF. And they added a great offensive mind in Sean Lewis. Sean Lewis was the head coach of Kent State just last year, instilled the flash fast offense with the Golden Flashes. They were pretty dang near unstoppable in the MAC. Could translate to some great success with Colorado, but whether or not it happens in week one remains to be seen. But a very solid pickup as offensive coordinator. The biggest concern for Colorado more than anything is their offensive line. Really on both sides of the ball. Winning the boards in the trenches, Colorado probably will not do that very much. Very undersized, undermanned, not a whole lot of depth. It's a bit of a concern on both areas. Take a look at TCU. They lose a lot as well, right? They lose Max Duggan. They lose Kendre Miller. They lose Quentin Johnston. So they lose their quarterback, dual threat quarterback, we should add. They lose their star rusher. They lose their top wide receiver. And they lose their offensive coordinator in Garrett Riley, who's now off to Clemson. But I wouldn't really call it a quarterback replacement. Chandler Morris is taking over at quarterback now for Max Duggan. Let's keep in mind that Chandler Morris was the starter for TCU last year against Colorado before he went down with an injury. Went down with an injury, Duggan came in, played great, never gave the job back. Ended up working out great. But he was going to be the starter. So Chandler Morris is a guy that obviously Sonny Dykes really had a lot of faith in. From the little bit that we have seen him over the course of his career, has played extremely well. I think TCU going to be really good at the quarterback position. And I think offensive coordinator Kendall Briles will do just fine running this offense with him under center. They add in Trey Sanders at running back from Alabama. Savion Williams returns at wide receiver. There's only 3 starters back total on offense for TCU, which is a bit of a concern. But this is an offense I still think is going to be very electric, very fast-paced. And obviously, I think could put up similar numbers to last year. They averaged 38.8 points per game, 455 yards per game. I think they take a minor step back, but nothing too drastic. TCU offensively, I think, will be just fine. They might be just fine in week 1 just because of how poor the Colorado defense will be as a whole. That's one thing going for them. TCU is playing a Power 5 opponent, is playing a team that they cannot overlook, and is playing a team that we really don't know much about. That's one thing that anybody that's playing Colorado, at least early on, isn't going to get to see. You're not going to get to watch film from this team from last year. The film from last year for TCU against Colorado, it's useless because there's so many key new pieces. Everything's changed. But the Colorado defense, guys, is going to be pretty brutal. I think it's going to be pretty bad. It was horrendous last year. Only 3 starters back on defense, obviously tons of transfers, but 3 starters back after allowing 44.5 points per game, 510 yards per game allowed by the Buffaloes last year, including 245 per game on the ground. Insane. It was atrocious and has an opportunity to probably be worse again in 2023. The secondary, I don't think will be too bad. Travis Hunter is going to be back there. Trevor Woods is going to be back there as well. He was the second leading tackler for Colorado last year with 79 tackles on the year. And then across the board on all other aspects, Deion Sanders obviously went in there and added some big transfers. Derek McClendon coming in from Florida State. Jordan Dominic coming in as well. Levante Bentley coming in at linebacker from Clemson. This is a defense, guys, that, you want to say, could they be worse? Could they be better? Again, we don't know. There's a lot of unknowns here. But they're bringing in guys from Power 5 conferences that do have some solid playing experience that, in theory, should improve those numbers from Colorado from 2022. Don't see them allowing over 500 yards per game. I don't see them allowing over 44 points per game. Should be a little bit better, but still going to take a long time to get all those pieces gelling and a long time for them to really, really become a force to be reckoned with. TCU defensively, they will not be as bad as people think. 7 starters back on defense, gave up 29 points per game, over 400 yards per game last year. So really, you look at TCU, right? It's kind of weird to think about. The offense was great. The defense, they got to the college football playoff, got to the national championship game, but their defense really wasn't all that good. But now here they are with 7 starters back, 5 of their top 6 tacklers returning, including Johnny Hodges at linebacker, Mark Perry coming back in the secondary, and that secondary really loaded, in my opinion. Everyone's back minus 1 guy. Everybody's back minus 1, and they went and added Avery Helm in from Florida to replace that 1 guy. So it's a pretty big pickup by Sonny Dykes, pretty big pickup by defensive coordinator Joe Gillespie. This linebacking core, the secondary, going to be in really good shape, so that back 7 going to be really, really solid. Up front, still have a few question marks, but actually might look like one of the best defensive lines in the country with as weak as we believe Colorado's offensive line will be. So TCU in a good shape defensively, going to make it hard for this new quarterback in Shedeur Sanders coming in from Jackson State to the FBS, immediately playing a Power 5 opponent. This is not what he's used to these last couple of years. A lot of these players, it's not what they're used to over these last couple of years. TCU going to try to throw everything at them to rattle them early and be like, welcome to the big leagues. Welcome to the FBS Shedeur Sanders, Deion Sanders. Welcome to the FBS Colorado. TCU's going to be like, we're tired of hearing about you. We're tired of hearing how people think you're all going to come in here and beat us on our home turf. Here we go. Welcome to the league. And ultimately, guys, I ultimately think that's what's going to happen, right? I personally want Deion Sanders in Colorado to succeed. I think it's an amazing story. I love the hype that Colorado's getting. I love the attention that they're getting. I love the fact that there is excitement in Boulder again, a reason to believe in Boulder again. But in this game, I am all over TCU. I think that some of the hype and some of the high expectations will be crushed a little bit by the end of Saturday afternoon because TCU should win this game big. I believe Colorado is more competitive over the course of the year, but a little bit more competitive in this game. But TCU at home has better talent, better size, better depth on both sides of the ball. They should win this game by double digits. I say by at least 17 points, if not more. They're going to spoil Deion Sanders' debut. People might start to turn on Colorado after hyping them up all year long. Colorado will be in good shape. Don't have very high expectations for them this year. They'll get there under Deion Sanders, but ultimately TCU gets the win. They get the win big on Saturday, and they try to begin their quest to make the college football playoff again. Is it going to happen? Probably not, but we said that last year. You just never know. So, guys, there you have it. TCU beating Colorado big, spoiling Deion Sanders' debut on Saturday afternoon. That is our pick for one of our games of the week. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including those expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. You don't want to miss out on those guaranteed winnings all season long. One of the best records and best picks in the entire country for the lowest prices in the country. Check out that Patreon account and send us some gear to that mailing address so we can represent your team in every single Gridiron Expert video. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.